Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a rare Friday edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. It's a beautiful day out there, a little bit on the hot side, and it's always what's totally hot here with another great guest. And before I get there, I got to read the underwriters. So we got Sparky's Automotive in Whitman. We got Shovel Shop Spirits right here in Easton. We got John's Greenhouses and Florist Shop in Brockton. We got T. Martini and Son Floor Covering in Abington. We got Johnny Macaroni's restaurants at 3 locations, 2 in East Bridgewater and 1 in Halifax. And we got Smoke and Ashes Tobacco Company, also Abington News in Abington, and they also have stores in Abington, Whitman, Weymouth, Hanson, and Pembroke. And on that note, now we will start the show. Here we go, officially. Okay, again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Well, I have had many countries represented on Topic Time, some from Europe, some from South America, some from Asia, and now I have another one from Europe. This is Gosia. How do you say your last name?
Gosia Krzyszkowiak. Last name is Krzyszkowiak. It's a very difficult last name.
That's why I asked you to pronounce it for me, because I probably couldn't do it myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's from Poland, and she's a very proud Polish model, now an American, and she's here tonight to talk to me and look at some of her pictures. And she's, as you can see, a very beautiful woman and very talented. And she's done some acting too. We're going to cover all that, and we're going to talk to her and find out all about her. So, Gosia, thanks for coming in and being on my show tonight. We've been trying to make this happen for a while, and now we finally have made it happen. Whatever.
I'm very happy we made it happen. Thank you for having me on your show.
Okay. So, you're a model, and you've already shown, you've done quite a bit of work already. But that having been said, what I do with all my guests is I try to find out what they were like growing up and how they got to be where they're at. So tell me about that. Did you grow up in Poland?
I grew up in Poland, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was born and raised in Poland. I grew up in Warsaw.
Warsaw, okay, yeah, that's the capital, correct?
That's right.
Right,
big
okay,
city,
yeah,
yes.
well, I know my countries. I've had my geography courses over the years in school. All right, well, talk about what that was like, and then we're going to work our way forward to what you're doing now and how it led to you coming to the U.S. and doing your modeling and all the other things. So go ahead. If I have any questions, I'll fire them your way.
I have fond memories of growing up in Poland. I had a wonderful family with the best parents I could imagine.
Cool.
I mean, there were definitely some political glitches at the time when I was growing up, but my parents made sure that we were protected and we had the best childhood we could have had under the circumstances. They were very strong parents and people that I really always looked up to and admired, but my dad was an Olympic champion. My mom was. Yes.
So, I don't usually. Well, just doing what? What did he do in the Olympics?
He was a long distance runner.
Wow.
Yes.
Wait, do you know what year he was in it?
Yes, Rome Olympics, Summer Olympics.
1968 was it? No,
that was 1960. 3,000 meter steeplechase. 1960. That's right. Yes, and he also had.
I was a year old. Crazy.
He also had 2 world records and 13 Polish championships records and many medals also in Europe. So he was quite a character, and he was a national hero in Poland because he was against the government at the time.
Did he know Lech Walesa?
That's right. Yes, I do.
No, well, did he know Lech Walesa?
He did, and my mom also knew him personally because my mom is a well-known human rights activist for the Katyn massacre. When during the war the Soviets executed Polish officers and intelligentsia in order to destroy the country. So my grandfather was one of the officers executed. So my mother was actually the one who went with Lech Walesa in the president's plane to exhumate the bodies and uncover the crime for the first time in history when when the communism fell down. So so both of my parents, strong figures, very heroic figures, and
Wow.
In many ways national heroes. And here, you know, they created the most amazing, just regular, humble home
For you. Well, that's
for
great.
us. And
yeah.
yes,
You have any siblings, brothers and
my
sisters?
sister, yes, I
Okay.
have an older sister, and also she lives on the Canary Islands right now, so
Okay.
she's also not in Poland, just like me. My mother is still in Poland. My mother passed away.
Oh,
I mean, my father passed away.
Yeah.
My mother is
Still there, yeah,
happy
yeah.
and healthy, alive, a wonderful woman. So it just very. We grew up in a regular home, taught to be humble, grateful for things. So it was just a very regular, nice, warm environment. And I, honestly speaking, wasn't even thinking I was going to model. I mean, of course, I admired fashion shows, and I was always very visual, and I loved art and fashion. But you know, we didn't think about that at the time. You know, education was priority. My parents wanted to make sure that we were, both my sister and I went to the university and finished high school and were educated properly. You know, nice regular home with good values. That gave us a very solid ground,
Okay.
but also very inspirational parents that made us believe that anything was possible.
Of course, of course.
Anything was possible. Any dream was possible.
All right, so,
If you believe in yourself.
and you obviously do. So what I want to know is how did, since you weren't, at the beginning you weren't really processed in your mind that you were going to model, how did that come to be? And what changed that, and what brought you here?
Right. So when I was growing up in Poland, I was actually more of a tomboy, believe it or not. I did not, and nobody believes it now.
I
when they
believe
look
it.
at-
A lot of my model guests
Really?
are. Tomboy, you said, right?
Yeah,
no, I believe
exactly.
it.
Yes. I was climbing trees with the boys, and I was wearing
Okay.
pants and didn't wear makeup until probably the end of high school.
Okay.
I just was very, very natural and very active and very. Energetic, and
You still
didn't
are.
really. I still am, but it's just, you know, I took a different turn, but I still can do both. I can be very, very plain and natural, and I love nature and traveling and hiking and doing.
Yeah, me too. Cool.
Not just fashion, but
You like the great outdoors.
Yes, I can combine the two. So I honestly speaking, you know, I came to America, I came here to study, I did my education here, undergraduate and graduate studies.
Where did you get educated in the States?
I went initially to Atlanta, Georgia, out of all places, because that's where I had my host family that welcomed me here. Graciously in America, and they helped me
So you
out
went from
a
being
lot.
a Polish lady to a Southern belle.
I never became a Southern belle. I know. I could have, but I never did.
Just making an observation here. I know, I'm kidding.
I never did. I just, you know, it just happened to be there. The weather was wonderful. The people, it was a Polish-American family. They hosted me, welcomed me. The living was wonderful there. I had a lot of international friends, and got my undergraduate degree in English literature, rhetoric, and composition with minor in philosophy, then my graduate degree in applied linguistics. So I did my university studies the way my parents wanted it, established my career, and only later on.
What's a career? What do you mean by that?
I became a university professor. I was
Wow.
teaching academic prep courses for international students at
Cool.
Tufts University, Boston University, Northeastern University.
Wow,
Also
multiple schools.
Yes, taught also at the European Parliament and Commission in Europe, and also at the Kanazawa University in Japan, gave seminars there.
Wow.
So I've taught in many institutions.
Are you bilingual? I mean, you must be bilingual
I
because
am
you speak English.
yeah, I'm bilingual and bicultural, clearly.
Right,
Living here, I'm Polish-American. I'm
Yeah.
also an American citizen now. So honestly speaking, when I was in Poland, I was approached by modeling scouts, and I even brought that brought up that idea at home, and then my parents went to meet some of them, and they wanted to take me to Italy for some fashion shows. And the family consensus was like, no, Gosia has to finish her university and focus on her school. And you know what? At the time, I was so resentful. I said, well, this is some new cool idea. I could do something exciting, different from boring school. And here my parents are telling me that's not a good idea. You know what? I'm grateful to my parents for that, because it helped me focus, finish everything that I had to, and set my priorities straight. And there was still time for modeling afterwards.
Of course.
And I did great, and I didn't even realize I would, and it happened naturally.
I always say everything happens for a reason.
It happens for a reason. It happens for a reason, and you know, they were right. I mean, that way I can always, you know, if I ever quit modeling, I can always get back to teaching. I have always something to lean back on, and nobody can take knowledge away from you, right? I mean, beauty fades away, but nobody can take knowledge away from you.
Comp and lit is a very noble profession as well. Being a writer, perhaps you might want to write a book someday. I've done it.
Thank you.
And it's always,
both of my parents wrote books, so they're great inspirations for writing a book.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I would definitely suggest that you take, I'm assuming you did it if you were in college, you took a creative writing course at some point.
I did. How do you know?
Because I know that's what comp and lit is. You learn how to write creatively. Plus, you can develop. You figure out you can be having a great time because you're with so many people that have the potential to really be creative, including yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you hear people's bouncing ideas back and forth together in that situation, it is really an incredible experience. I know because I've taken my share of them. I took a creative writing course in 1989, and then 10 years later, the book that I wrote was published by the guy that taught me the course. So
I'm so impressed.
So that's a show for me in another day.
I'm so impressed. No, we should do that show, and maybe I can interview you on that show.
You can always interview me. Okay.
Actually, Cynthia Hudson just asked me to do
interviews. She asked my book. I gave her a copy.
Yeah, but she asked me to do interviews for Aspiring magazine and then do some red carpet interviews. So maybe I can do an interview with you one day for the Aspiring magazine.
Cynthia will have it. I'll do it. Okay.
But I also publish poetry too. Sorry to interrupt you.
Cool. I've done poetry. I did my first book was a poetry back in 1978 when I was 19.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
So we are soulmates.
We're in the same league.
We are.
Okay. But let's talk about. I want to talk about the projects you've done and how and you've done quite a few. So what I want you to do is to take a deep breath and think through some of the. Well, it doesn't have to be all of them, but talk about the pictures you've taken, and we'll look at them online here, but on the screen as you discussed them, and then I'll ask you about them, because you showed them to me all, and they're amazing. So go ahead, talk about the pictures.
I've done a lot of photo shoots, not just. I mean, in terms of modeling, I didn't even realize that it was going to skyrocket like that. But I have done a lot of runway shows and wonderful charity shows and great photo shoots. As one of my favorite photo shoots were with Jerzy Żurawski in Europe, in Krakow, in Poland, where I grew up, in one of my favorite cities, if not my favorite city in Poland, with beautiful old architecture and great ambience. The pictures you definitely show the background there in designer gowns. Some of the gowns I brought from here. Some of the gowns were locally acquired, and some of them are vintage, and some of them are local designers. I brought designers dresses from Boston. There is a dress there by Kinda Tuma, who is a Syrian designer. There are these very nice, you can see the architecture in the back, a very nice sort of like Arabesque-inspired paintings behind. And so I didn't even realize that we were going to find something that would look so good with a Syrian design, but that's what I actually love about fashion, the fact that fashion is often influenced by architecture, art, and wildlife like Azi Sharif, right, and many beautiful places. So combining fashion with beautiful backgrounds. It's one of my favorite things to do. And here, then I go in the middle there and just do my job.
Well, speaking of fashion, do you do any fashion designing yourself?
I haven't, although I've thought about it.
Okay.
I have a,
Might
people
wanna try
say
it.
people say I have a great eye for style and fashion.
Well, considering what you're wearing tonight, I would say that is true.
Thank you so much. People, I don't know if that's true, but people do call me a fashionable person. So maybe I should give it a try one day.
Definitely. I always say the more multifaceted you are, the more opportunities you're going to have down the line. Now, what about, do you ever done anything musical? Sing, dance, play, musical instruments at all?
And no, I mean, I sang in a school choir that I'm not particularly proud of it. I don't think I'm a singer or a musician. However, I love dancing. Of course, I'm Polish, so most Polish people naturally love dancing, no matter what. No matter whether you professional, you train or you're not, you hear the music and you'll go out there and dance.
Mola, mola, shomla, nosa, my melody of love, right? See, I know.
Once I was at a Polish festival, one of my good friends asked me to dance polka with him, and I said, you know what, I don't really know how to dance polka. And he said, you're Polish. And I just did the whole crazy spin with him, and he said,
didn't take much to convince you, did it?
Yeah, he said, you know what, no, it didn't take, there was not even a second of doubt I would do it. And he said, only Polish person could have pulled it off without being trained in it, and the kind of energy it takes, hopping around the dance floor, doing the dancing.
He hit you where you live, in your Polish pride.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
I have it. So I have it in my blood. Apparently, I have it in my blood.
Yeah.
So I do love dancing. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Now talk about that film you were in. You did a film, is this a recent film that you did about Cleopatra?
So I do love acting. I started with a lot of poetry, improv, and
So you've done. We'll talk about some of the other things you've done in acting too.
Right. So we've done a lot of short local films with local producers. Every year, actually, our films get accepted at the International Boston Festival.
Wow.
And we've been at the Cyprus festival, short film festival, and even one of our films was accepted in Cannes in one of the category of independent.
That's the biggest film festival in the world.
It was the category of short independent films, and they're just so much fun because we don't have to actually prepare much. We just very spontaneous. We do everything on the spot. But however, of course, the film producer does have a plan and he prepares things ahead of time. But they fun, short, wacky films, and one of my most well-known ones is the Search for Cleopatra's Crown. I think there's a picture out there in Cleopatra's costume by a designer, Alexandra Gori, local Boston designer, originally from Russia. And it's a spectacular costume that I had a chance to wear, and I'm lucky I did. And it was a fun short film that we did that was recognized at the Boston International Festival, among others.
Well, tell me about the film and tell me what your role was.
My role was, I was a science.
Is this a parody?
It's, all the films are a little bit...
What you said, it sounded like crazy, silly.
They're a little bit silly. The producer, he calls himself the professor of surrealism. So everything is slightly wacky.
The best kind of professors.
Exactly. So a little bit wacky, surrealistic, and a little
wacky,
bit...
that's the word you use.
Yeah, so
Okay.
things are a little bit off the beaten track and not things that you would necessarily expect. So, there was a student I was a student, so a college student whose college diploma was going to be repossessed,
That's pretty funny.
because I couldn't pay off the debt, and then there was this Cleopatra.
They call that dark realism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we found this Cleopatra's crown that was missing, that it was worth a lot of money, and somehow we managed to track it down, and somehow I looked in the mirror and I transformed into Cleopatra, and I became the queen.
You look like you'd be a
The
great
queen,
Cleopatra.
and I suddenly from a regular college student and a regular person, I became the queen. And
Wow, that is so cool.
It was fun. It was fun.
You want to say who produced it? Because I may know this. I may know who it was.
It was Mick Cosimano,
Okay, I know.
Mick Cosimano Productions. So he's a very talented cartoonist, but he does a lot of great short film productions that are fun. I think here is us at the Boston International.
Close up, hold it up.
Us at the Boston International Festival with Mick Cosimano. And you can see an Egyptian theme here.
Just hang on, she's got
an Egyptian theme.
Okay. There you go. Beautiful. Okay.
So
you want to show some pictures? Go ahead. Even though we've already.
Yes, we've
you can do both.
So I've a lot of the pictures from my photo shoots have been published in the Aspiring magazine and the Surreal magazine. So we've done a lot of fun publications and fun shoots. The binding. I just remember you talked about the binding. So here it is, one of them from Poland, Polish flower power, flower power, Polish boho.
That is really cool.
That's the Kindatuma design with at a villa, at an old villa in Poland, with painting that reminded us of the Syrian design. Right in the center of Europe. So that's what I love, the way fashion and art and photography connects all the cultures and countries and religions and brings us all together. Lots of great. I was trying to find a picture that doesn't have the binding in the middle, so we can have a nice.
That one, that's the larger one that has the binding in the middle, isn't it?
Exactly, and those are awesome, but they just have the binding in the middle. Yes, it's. I wish I put little. So we've done a lot of this here. The flower power Polish boho. We did it in Krakow, so we tried to use my Polish background as a theme for the shoot in Poland, just to give it some local flavor. And we used we collaborated with some amazing makeup artists there and stylists. So it was a lot of fun. We did also some. Not everything is just elegant, fabulous gown shooting. We did. We used some also grungy background. For some strange reason, I can't find it. With some old neighborhoods.
Yeah, but I think we have that picture already.
Of Poland, yeah. So
and
just we walked around the streets and tried to find places that were interesting, and this is more of a natural kind of shot in the middle of the old streets of Krakow.
Cool.
We've done a lot of interesting. Jay-Z Żurawski is an extremely talented photographer, but all the photographers I've worked with are amazing.
Wow, that's great.
Amazing.
That is so cool. And you've really inspired that magazine, and so has Cynthia. She's done a great job with it.
Yes, she actually chose me to be an ambassador for the Aspiring magazine and to cover for her magazine around Boston at different fashion events. So it's been a great experience. And she also, just as I said recently, asked me to do some interviews, red carpet interviews for their magazine. So that's quite an honor. Thank you, Cynthia, for choosing me for that honorable role.
All right, going forward, what does the rest of 2019 look like for you? How busy are you with your projects now?
I am super busy. I sort of took a little bit of a break from teaching because I also run my own bed and breakfast and do some real estate rentals in Cambridge.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, so I have the most.
Must be quite bohemian.
It's not as bohemian as you think. I would say it's kind of charming.
I'm sure it's charming.
My bread and breakfast is quaint.
Okay.
It has a
Where's it
charming
located in
feel.
Cambridge?
It's next between the Mount Auburn Cemetery and Fresh Pond.
Okay.
It's
Route 16?
about 20 minutes from walking distance from Harvard Square.
Okay, is it near the Whole Foods in Fresh Pond?
It's near Whole Foods and Star Market. Yes, exactly that area. So.
Cool.
And
Know that
I
area
have
very well.
I have some of the most interesting people coming visiting me there, so I really enjoy hospitality too.
I'm sure the food is delicious too.
Thank you. And it's I always I'm the kind of person that I have multiple interests, and I don't like to be put in a box and categorized. So I like to do many different things that excite me. And obviously fashion and modeling is one of them, and then my bed and breakfast, real estate rentals, and also, teaching was always super rewarding, seeing people progress and, make a difference in people's lives. And the future, we'll see what happens. I would like to do more print, more photo shoots.
More acting too?
More acting, actually. More acting. I do enjoy acting a lot.
Cool.
So it's definitely taps into the creative side of me, yes, the creative juices and
well, guess what?
Maybe the secret writer in me.
There you go, keep writing. Well, guess what? We're under 5 minutes now. We made the half hour go by. I know, we always
I'm
do.
quite a talker, right?
Well, you are. You're great. So what I want you to do in the remaining time is give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because a lot of them are. You got a big fan following out there, and go ahead. And then we'll just condense them, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Hi everyone. I wanted to say hello to all the wonderful people in my life, especially my mom in Poland, who I hope is watching this show and who has always supported me, and my mom, my dad, who is there, who is here, I'm sure, with us in spirit. I've had always the best parents in my life. Kocham cię, mamo, pozdrawiam cię i dziękuję za wsparcie we wszystkim, co robię. I had to say it in Polish because my mom doesn't speak English. So, and then all my whole family in Poland, and friends of my family in Poland, and then my whole Boston family of all my wonderful friends, people, designers, fashion organizers, producers, photographers, and last but not least, my wonderful boyfriend, who's been very present and supportive throughout my whole fashion adventure. And he definitely, fashion was never his thing until he started to date me. Now he attends every fashion show, takes pictures, and helps me out in videos, and is super supportive. And all my friends, as you met, my friend Sandra, who helped me come here. It was so wonderful. She offered, I didn't even ask, she offered to bring me here to help me with this interview. So I have the most amazing friends. My best friend Peter, who is my brother here, and he's originally from China, Hong Kong, and he's always had my back and supported me through all my crazy in quotes. I always say interesting, but crazy. Crazy in Polish actually has a positive connotation.
Okay. I hope you had fun.
Yeah. So thank you for supporting me and everything. Sorry.
I hope you had fun. It's all right. I hope you had fun with me tonight.
I've had so much fun. You're a really interesting person. I didn't realize we were soulmates, and we had the whole creative writing.
Oh yeah.
Writing.
Well, that's
thing
why
in common.
I ask people questions like that.
Yes, and you spotted it right away.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even tell you that.
Takes one to know one.
Yes.
All right. Well, also before we wrap it up, I just want to ask you, anybody that you know that's in the modeling industry, film, whatever, that I haven't interviewed, I'd love to get them on the show. So please spread the word about Talking Time. I get a lot of guests like that, word of mouth.
I will. I know a lot of wonderful people in the fashion and film world that would love to attend your show. This was a great experience.
Sounds great. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you ready to get down with the snapping like we did at the beginning?
I love it. It's so much fun.
Okay, folks. Thanks for watching Talking Time. More great episodes. See you next time.